Okay, so we've got the workbench cleaned up a little bit. I got this Pro Seal color preserver that I use, and what that does is some of these threads, when they're lighter than the blank itself, they'll become transparent, and when you put the epoxy on them, they will change colors. And I want to try keeping the colors exactly the way they are. So I'll put this color preserver on there, and it'll soak into the threads and keep the colors vibrant in the way I want them. So I'm going to turn this rod spinner on here, and we're going to start at this end and just soak this thing, just using a disposable brush. And we'll let it dry for a few hours, and then we'll check it, and then we'll move on to putting on the epoxy. Okay, so now we'll let that dry for a few hours. It dries clear, and then we'll probably wipe some of it off. I always put it on in excess. Actually, I got to order another bottle because I do drown it. I want to make sure that it's got plenty to soak in. I'll let it go for about 30-45 minutes, and then I'll get the excess off. And then I'll let it dry completely before we start mixing our epoxy. And then in the meantime, my garage is saying it's 70 degrees. Ideal is between 80 and 70. 75 is perfect. So I know these are a little cold, my epoxies. And when they're warmer, the warmer they are, the easier they flow. So we'll put those, we'll heat those up in a minute. When we're done with this part here, we'll heat those up and go from there. We'll let this spin for a little while, and then we'll dry up the excess, let it soak in good, and we'll go from there. I'll shut this off and start it back up in a minute. Okay, so we let the thread preserver dry, and now we're gonna mix up some epoxy. It's cold in the garage, so I did warm it up with the heater. Got it warmer. It does flow better when it's warmer. So we're gonna mix up some epoxy. You want to mix up extra. You don't want to be short when you're doing this. Run out. So simple to mix up. I use the Pro Coat. And then I got the brush cleaner out. I got an extra cup for the clean the brush. I use an extra wide brush for these big wraps. It goes over a lot of area quick. I double check, make sure there's no lint. And we'll get this thing mixed up. I got these quick connect ends inside these jugs. So I like to, if you just keep drawing the liquid out of there, they like vacuum lock and then won't let you pull it out. So I'm gonna take 3 cc's out of here. So I'm gonna send 3 cc's of air in there, Because then when I take the 3 cc's of liquid in there, it don't vacuum lock on me. It's just something I learned that makes it a little easier. Treat these cc's exactly. I think we're gonna need more than 3 cc's, so I'm gonna do 5 total. So I got it 2, dump 2 more air in, tip it up, and then I'll pull 2 more out. Okay, we'll get this out of the way. Go 3 cc's of air. Then we'll do 2 cc's of air. Now we'll mix this up real good. There's already a dog hair in there. Now you see why I use that drying tent I have. I do have a lot of dogs, and dog hair is my enemy when it comes to rod building. Now you want to mix this up real good. It'll turn like frothy, and you'll see swirls and stuff in it. You want to try to kind of stir it slow, and keep getting it around, get it off the edges, and just keep it moving. It'll go back clear when it's ready to be used. It takes normally 2.5 minutes or so, 3 minutes, but you get about 45 minutes of actual working time with this stuff. So you want to be prepared to work with it once it's done. It is key to mix it up real good. I can still see a marbling in there. You want to try not to put many bubbles in there. If we get some, it's okay, because we're gonna I don't use the alcohol torch like most people do. I've got a little heater for my drying tent, and that pops most bubbles that form. Just want to make sure it's really mixed up. It's nice and clear now. We'll turn on our rod dryer. All that does is keep this thing spinning. I'll keep these rags here so it don't get all over my track. And I'm gonna really coat this thing. I'll get it on real thick, and then I'll level it out after. I just want to get it on there, get a good coat in there, let it start working into the threads, because as it goes in, it'll form air bubbles. So you just want to keep it moving. Alright, so now I got this little heater. It puts out some nice heat and it don't blow too hard. So what I'll do is I'll use this to pop any bubbles. And I'll do it a few times, go over it a few times. You can't hold it in one area too long, it'll thin it out and make it start being runny. There's going to be a few coats on this thing, so I'm not really trying to cover it in one coat. Okay, we're just going to watch it for a minute. We'll clean our brush while we watch it. I wasn't happy with how stiff my brush was. I must not have cleaned it too good last time. I thought I did, but I must not have. And every now and then I'll just keep looking at this thing for more bubbles because they will form, because anytime you're covering over the top of threads, there's air underneath those threads. It has to work its way up. So I'll more than likely be popping bubbles for a minute here. Yeah, I see some forming already. I think I'm going to stand this up back here and let that soak in there for a minute. Work on some of these bubbles. Okay, now we'll just put the dryer tent on it and wait. I'm gonna hit it one more time, make sure there's no bubbles. Alright, I need to move the camera to do the last bit, but we'll put this rod drying tent over it, put our thermostat inside, and we'll add heat as needed. And we'll pick back up when we start doing the guides. Okay, we got the tent over it, and if you can see back there, we got our little thermometer inside there. Our heater's back in there, so if we need to, it says it's 75 in there right now because my garage has heaters running in it right now. But before I go to bed, I will turn that little heater on to keep this thing nice and at temperature, because it's cold out right now. But as soon as this gets out of the dryer, the drying tent, we'll put these guides on. We'll hit it again with another coat. It'll probably take, we'll put the guides on, we'll hit the guides with a coat, we'll hit that with a second coat, and then after all that dries, we'll determine, we'll probably need to put another coat on the guides, and then we'll determine if that wrap needs a third coat. Normally it does. But we'll keep pressing on and try getting this to Becca as soon as we can.